The morning of March 13th, 1848. Ferdinand I sleeps peacefully while news of revolution in Paris takes hold of Vienna. In short order, students, artisans, and middle-class citizens pour into the streets, demanding political change. A protest turns into a revolution when Habsburg troops fire on the crowd, killing several Viennese citizens. Shouts and gunfire add to the confusion where citizens are building barricades, and fires rage across the city. Clemens von Metternich's worst nightmares have come true.
When France has a cold, all Europe sneezes. For years I have tried to prevent the dissolution of order into chaos. The Carlsbad decrees kept these stirrings at bay for a time, but dissent will always worm its way into the people. When the people talk, the king suffers. I am not a prophet, and I do not know what will happen. But I am an old physician and can distinguish between temporary and fatal diseases. We now face one of the latter. I have served Austria faithfully for years. I will not be overrun now.
Protesters in Vienna are not relenting, despite the violence running through the city. A speech by the Hungarian, Lajos Kossuth, has been read around the city, prompting riots. And Ferdinand I has finally agreed to dispose of Metternich, who is leaving the capital now.
I am no longer anybody. I have nothing more to do, nothing more to discuss.
With Metternich out of the way, the protesters' demands are more easily met. Ferdinand I has declared freedom of the press and expanded voting rights, along with allowing for the formation of a national guard. He has tried to rescind these orders, but those in Vienna have held fast, forcing the king to open up to a more liberal government. The peasants are finally free of the robot, and now a liberal government can take the stage. Speaking of Lajos Kossuth, Hungary has declared itself independent under his leadership.
Hungary is in a word in a state of war against the Habsburg dynasty, a war of legitimate defense, by which it alone can ever regain independence and freedom. I was glad my speech was the one that helped run the old codger Metternich out of town, but now there are greater things to focus on. Hungary wants its independence. The Magyars have long been equal to the Germans, and it is high time we were treated as such, with our own sovereign state to boot. We have proclaimed our autonomy as such. It is only rightfully what we rightfully deserve. The House of Austria has publicly used every effort to deprive the country of its legitimate independence and constitution, designing to reduce it to a level with the other provinces long since deprived of all freedom, and to unite all in a common sink of slavery. We must separate ourselves so that we can forge the government we see most fit.
Kossuth and other Hungarians have now completely cut themselves off from the rest of the empire with the March laws. A separate Hungarian Diet now governs the region, which is formed through elections by landed men. Hungary is now free to determine its own foreign relations and operates as such, although they have agreed to acknowledge Ferdinand as emperor and the abolition of the robot. There has been pushback against these measures from the Croats, at the urging of the Habsburgs, to unseat this new government under Joseph Jelaschik. Because of this act, the Hungarians are refusing to aid the emperor, and, in an unexpected turn of events, the emperor has rescinded Hungarian autonomy. Additionally, the Czechs are now revolting in Prague, demanding their own free state, on equal footing as the Hungarians. Meanwhile, Ferdinand I is feeling the pressure of his empire falling to pieces, and has fled to Innsbruck. June 1848. The Czechs have gathered in a Pan-Slav Congress to attempt to solidify their position as their own independent state. Many differing Slav groups are represented, but they cannot seem to come to any consensus other than that the Habsburgs are terrible. One outspoken historian is pushing a viewpoint contrary to the general idea of the Congress, František Palacký.
If the Austrian Empire did not exist, it would have to be created in the interest of Europe and of humanity. What I mean to say is, this squabbling is occurring because we all have different beliefs and ideas about how a country should be run. If we weren't all united under the flag of the Habsburgs, then each of us Slavic groups would be separated into different, larger countries anyway. We are not united enough to stand up to the like of France or Germany. What I am seeing develop here today is that while I must believe that we Czechs deserve our nation state as fiercely as anyone else, perhaps this disunity is signaling that now is not the time.
June 16, 1848. Prague attempted to assert its independence, barricades going up around the city, but they failed under an onslaught of cannon fire. The Croatians, under Jelačić, have overrun the Hungarian revolutionaries, ending the new government in one fell swoop. Ferdinand has also put the imperial armies to use, taking back Vienna at the cost of 3,000 Viennese lives. He has given the throne over to his nephew, Francis Joseph, who has reinstated censorship and is moving to take out any and all political dissenters with the newly implemented Bach system under the new Minister of Justice, Alexander Bach. The Austrian Parliament has also been dissolved. Hungary is now the last remaining island of liberalism and is refusing to bend to Francis Josef's rule. The Emperor, in retaliation, has called on the Russian Tsar to help him put down any hope of revolution. One Hungarian soldier's reaction follows thus. My conviction that Hungary was absolutely lost, as soon as Russia interfered for its subjugation, determined me not to desist from the last attempt in my power for saving it. Kossuth has fled to Turkey in the face of 140,000 Russian troops, and revolution and reform has abandoned the Austrian Empire, at least for now.